Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. The whole 7 of you. Oh, that's a pretty interesting number, even though it's Monday night and tomorrow is a work day. So let's see who we have here. Slobodan is here. He says, hello, Meran, 24 Belgrade. Hello, Slobodan. Stephen is here. Hello, Meran. Stephen, male 43, Los Angeles. Thank you for that. And Regan or Regeneron. Okay. I hope I didn't butcher the name. Says, hi, 22 Canada. Well, thank you for that. Where in Canada? Canada is a big country. And we have Stephen says, I'm working tonight and have an easy assignment. I saw that you're live. Yes, I am live and alive, and I have a wonderful drink in front of me. This is a 5 mushroom blend with cocoa and a bit of honey and hot water. Sounds really good, tastes really good, makes me chill even more. And yeah, Slobodan, I read that, but that's your fault. You're paying attention to the brain. Just don't. The more you do it, the more that becomes your need to do it to get conclusion. And I'm saying all along, I've been saying to you, you don't seem to listen. Stop looking for conclusion. Stop testing. Just leave it. Just leave it. Yeah. So the remedy is, as I mentioned in all my recordings to you, and also what I've said here. And Regeneron says, do you know Erin Burnett from CNN? Maybe if I see the face, I may recognize, but I don't. I don't watch CNN anyhow. And he says, I always think I like a wife similar to her. Aside from her politics, I do like so much about her personality. Well, the personality is packaged personality for that show. You cannot consider that her real personality all the way through when she's in private mode or when she's in some kind of a interaction on a personal level. So many of these actors and actresses or the movie characters, even if they're just having a show on TV, it's the same as having a role on a movie production. It's in a script that they're supposed to follow because that is what that program is supposed to represent. So you can or cannot be sure that this is actually her real personality when she's on her day-to-day life. So might as well enjoy the image that you're infatuated with, but don't think that she's actually the one that you're in love with because you want a wife like that and all that. Just give a chance to whoever you meet. Let them let you know who they are, how they are, and focus on them rather than constantly trying to compare her to that CNN anchor. In that way, it's like having a old flame. Now it didn't work out. You guys broke up. Now any girl that you meet because you're still infatuated with the ex, you compare the ex with the new. You compare the new with the ex, and that doesn't let you to get to know the specialities of the new girl, and doesn't let you to be motivated to know more about her and interact with her on a longer duration to find out how you react to her image and energy and emotions and the connection. And instead, you're too busy comparing her with how pretty or how good or how whatever your ex was. And that's not fair. So don't compare this to the actors and actresses and show anchors and whatnot. And she says, unfortunately, she's gotten more stern. See, but I like how she dresses and carries herself. And you notice how she talks to people. She's very engaging that way. Unfortunately, she's gotten more stern in the last 8 years when she started her show 13. Her show 13. I don't know where that Yes, okay. And Steven says, I'm not sure what it is, but tonight was thinking that I don't feel the same here as my old job. It was a small place and I knew everyone over here. I'm always assigned in different areas and don't feel close to people like I did at my other job. I miss those. Yeah, but in order to get to a new island, you eventually have to cut the rope from your boat to the dock. Otherwise, you can't go and explore any new opportunities, new fishing areas, new islands, new things in that island, because you're tied to the dock. Same thing, if you constantly go to the same assignment, you'll be feeling cozy and all that. And that would be the limit of your experiences and your knowledge and expertise in that field. And you'll never be able to see what other things are out there that you need polishing, learning more, and being experienced to help you advance when the time comes. So, uh, yeah, there's something, as you mentioned, but there's also good thing about it is that it gives you the opportunity for any better future positions. Unless that happens, you won't be able to be qualified for anything more, and your knowledge will remain the same. So, yeah, I understand that, but so be it. In order to advance, you got to have these. But the good thing about it is that when you're assigned to other positions within your industry, you have that chance that you've been looking for to meet other people. Otherwise, if it's all the same, and you can't really kind of have any kind of a further uh, connections with whichever girl you see in there, then that would be it. Closed area, that many, you know them each, and it doesn't happen. So that what about that then? But instead, if you're moving to different, then there could be other opportunities. You could meet other girls and so on. So that's also good. And Steven says, a friend of mine runs an adult care facility and could hire me. It would be sort of like the old place and the pay is less. No, forget that. It's no advancement. You don't take a step back, man. Especially with the inflation and all that, you want more money in order to compensate for what's the value of dollar going down. And now, hopefully, with Trump being on the helm, hopefully things will change. And but still, you need more money. And Regeneron says in 2011, she was so much more lighthearted. Now she's a lot more humorless and seems more stressed often, kinda. And Reginald says, oh, well, Lola, I'm just lonely as always. And says, yeah, me neither, Lola. Okay. All right. Says, good point. It seems pretty real from what I see. Yeah, they always, for that context is real, but in the different context, it's like when an actress or actor is given a role in a movie of being a villain and they play it so well that it seems real. But the same actor or actress in a different movie scenario is given the role of, I don't know, a teacher or someone positive, and they act that out so perfectly well that it's so real. So they just act it and it's real because that's what they want to do, and so it comes across as real. But it's not the scenario or the forum that you can really see the real character as it would be in a scenario of relationship or connection of that sort. And Steven says, I haven't dated or gone out much for the past year. Now I am starting to go out again, but I've noticed I feel nervous around women and not myself like before. I have to check myself. No, it's not. You're not nervous. The reason you feel nervous is because you're expecting something. Like you want to get to some kind of a positive outcome out of that date. Just don't go have fun. Go see who she is. But if you go in there with the eye of the need, that I need to get to bed with her, I need to get a second date. You have a plan, you have a goal. Don't make them gods or be all end all or your salvation. Just a fucking date. It's a human being. See if she deserves to be with you. See, talk to her, share things, see what she's all about, what her life is like, learn about her life, share things that you want to share with her. That's it. No agenda. Just go have fun. Then you wouldn't be nervous because you don't want anything. You can't be nervous if you don't want anything. Just go have a nice meal, enjoy tea or coffee, and if it's, I don't know, opportunity lands, dance or just talk or walk. Don't want anything. Then you won't be nervous. Yeah. And Region says, I found this one woman denies she has a YouTube channel. Oh, Dennis, not denies. I found this one woman, Dennis. She has a YouTube channel. She last posted in 2013. She talked about astrology and she was my same sign. Something about her was special. She was definitely an 80s born millennial. I think I like her voice the best. It was such a nice accent, I guess, from Colorado. You're just horny. These are not the girls that you really are looking for. Any girl that has something to offer, you're looking for that. And that is just being horny, and that's fine. Enjoy it, but don't think like, oh, I lost my chance because I couldn't get that girl, the YouTube channel, or that girl who's an anchor in CNN. Just go jack off and you'll all be okay. And that's the end of it. Putting too much meaning on all these things. It's the edges of it. We men, you like this one, like that one, and you make an idol out of it because you're horny, and that's how it should be. Don't worry about it. It's all good. All right. Indilagani is here. Says, Salam Mehran, Cheturi. Thank you, Indilagani. Says, London 27. It's good to see your show again. Well, my pleasure. Glad that you could join us. All right, guys. It's 18 minutes past when we started. And I'm going to let you watch something and be right back after station identification. Oh, no. We don't have sponsors, but, feel free to do what you got to do. So here we can watch, how about watching this?
Damn, I thought she is the one. Everything was all good. She suddenly turned as if I was no longer who I was anymore. Why did she do that? Why do I feel so devastated? How can I feel better? How can I understand what is going on in my head? How can I go on? I will never fall in love again. Things finally make sense. I now understand why she did what she did, and why I feel so shitty about it all, and why I miss her so much. I now know how to not miss her, and how to move on and build a better me, more confident and more aware of the role of my thoughts, consciousness, desires, fears, and ego in my relationship, and how I feel after a breakup. I got to talk to him or watch his videos on YouTube.
They may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world. All right. We're back. Let's see. And Region says, lol, apologies for that. You have much more patience than most. Read that basically. They'll mention one thing is, and what I call an avoidant, others call it a disorder, but I don't like the label. It's not label. So I like listening to people from a distance, but I'm just automatically avoidant in real life. Don't be, change it. You're in control. You can change it. You know, no different if you go to a store and they give you an ice cream you don't like, you just throw it out, or you go for the ice cream that you think maybe is a better choice. You make changes. You don't have to go through, and when you notice something is not working for you, and you know that is not to the best of your advantage, to continue that. Change it. This life, and at the actuality of moments, is designed for you to change things at the time of actions. When you're playing soccer, the ball is in your foot and you're running around, you can change direction because you are you're in the moment, and the actuality of life is your effort. While you're making effort, you can change the effort to change the direction of the ball, the destination of the ball, the destiny of that, what you're trying to create. Same thing. It's a game. You don't like it. It doesn't give you the right answer or right, benefits or pleasure or right results. Change it. Don't sit down and just listen and say, oh, this and that. She's nice. Go out, get a girl, talk. She doesn't want to talk. Okay, sorry about that. Bye-bye. Don't bother them, but create opportunities for yourself. All right. Steven says it's crazy how everything in life is always changing. I feel like people either are doing worse, the same, or better when seeing them years later. The uncertainty with everything is also kind of scary. No, it's not scary. We are experts to live in an uncertainty. We are experts to live in an uncertain world. This is a life that it is foundation, it is on uncertainty. Why? And we are expert in that. Why? Because look at it. Ever since you were born, there was not a one thing, there was not a thing that you knew it's going to happen and it happened. Everything that happened came out of uncertainty. Like you didn't know it's going to happen. You didn't know the result of it, the future of it, the next step of it. But certain thing happened that you didn't expect it, you didn't know about it, but you managed, you dealt with it, you rolled with it, you decided, you made decisions, you made correction, you made changes, you effected it, you modified it. You became a person who would reshape an uncertainty when it would present itself. That's an expertise. You didn't know what school you're going to go. You didn't know what kind of homework the teacher's going to give you. You didn't know what kind of girlfriend you're going to meet. You didn't know what kind of university is going to go. You didn't know if you're going to go to university. You didn't know what kind of job you're going to get. You don't know what kind of manager at that job was, what kind of money, if they're going to fire you or not. All these uncertainties, you didn't give a shit. And you were very good at it. to manage it. So naturally, we are born as a species, as entities that are expert in handling uncertainties, because nothing was handed to us beforehand with a document say, well, tomorrow or next week or next year, this will happen and you should be prepared for. No, none of it. We're prepared for nothing, yet we handled everything. Look at your life. Did you know any of the atrocities that were going to happen to you? Anything that was not really of your choice? Anything that wasn't positive? Anything wasn't to your benefit? Anything that really happened? Everything that happened to you, you had no knowledge of it. It was all unknown. But yet, all these uncertainties that you were flowing through in the stream of life, you handled since childhood, according to the level of your life, and still continues. So we are naturally experts in handling uncertainties. Yet you sit down, or some people say, oh, I wish I knew this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the future holds. You never knew what the future held. You're expert in not knowing how the future is going to be put together, and yet you handled the future, whatever the fuck it came out, as worse as it could. So focus on the fact that you are trained by nature to handle this life, and this life, its foundation is uncertainty. Otherwise, it would be a conclusion. We would be at the end of life. We don't know anything about it. That's why life continues. But yet, what we are relying on, the foundation of our success, is that we know that whatever cards it would be dealt to us, we're masters of handling and managing uncertainty, any hand that is dealt to us. We have done it before all our life, and we're going to be doing it all our life without hesitation, without worries, because we rely on our ability to change, make change, and bring about things to turn out the way we want it to turn out. We're resilient, we're smart, and we know how to take care of ourselves. Then it doesn't matter what hand you're going to be dealt. You're an expert to handle it. So we go from there. And Region says, thanks, bro. You're quite welcome. Oh, were you talking to me? And Dimitris says, hi, Miran, 30 from Melbourne. Oh, Australia. What time is it there? What time is it there? What time is it there? 1:27. It's 1:27 in the afternoon, plus 7 hours. That's 8:27 at night. Is it? Is it? 8:27 p.m. Am I right? I must be right. All right. And he says, if the way to beat OCD is to not take your thoughts seriously, what do you do when the thoughts are persistent and consistent to the point where you can't live your life? You can live you choose not to live, because you choose to pay attention to thoughts than paying attention to your awareness. That's your fault. You choose to think you're the brain and the brain is above you, rather than the brain is subordinate, and you are going to help the brain to be healed from its disorder. Glitch and malfunction in the signaling system of the brain is the problem. You're not the problem. It's OCD. I had OCD ever since childhood. All kinds of fucking OCD. Line up things on the table, turn the switch on and off 50 million times, wash my hands God knows how many times, and then intrusive thoughts and all kinds of weird stuff. But eventually you learn that you're the boss and you can help the brain to get back to its default setting. It's a malfunction. It's not your fault. It's nothing to think it's real or to be taken seriously. It's just about accept the fact that the thoughts can exist. But what it means or interpretation of, I don't care. Because I live by my vetoes and choices. So if a thought or suggestion, just like somebody else suggests something from out there, I don't agree with it. I don't want to play that game, or I don't want to buy that, go to that shop, buy something. I don't want to go to that movie, or I don't want to go to that restaurant. Whatever they suggest, I don't care what it is. I veto it. So the brain is also a third entity, it's another entity, it's not me. I'm not the brain, brain is not me. So when it suggests something that I don't find it interesting to me, or it's not my choice and not in line with my values, I just simply let it fall by the wayside. I veto it. I say, okay, you can exist. That's a thought that you have, but it's not me and it's irrelevant to me. So I move on. But if you want to get bogged down to prove to the brain that, no, I shouldn't do this, what should I do? You start giving energy. It's like some crazy person is standing in the street and talks nonsense, and you're going to argue with it, whatever political views or personal views, whatever it is, and you keep going back and forth. Well, that's the energy that they feed on to continue this. So you pay attention to it and try to convince the brain, no, I don't want to do this. Why you do? So you're creating more of a dialogue. But when you recognize that it's not in line with your values, whatever it is, whether somebody out there says something, whether it's your brain says something, it's not you. So you just move on and you don't pay attention or exchange energy with it. And then because of your behavior toward that thought or suggestion or whatever it may be, it gets conditioned that there's no energy coming back. It's not going to be entertained. This person doesn't care about these sort of narratives. So it needs to change itself if it wants to be connected. And the brain wants to be connected. So you're training it that if you comply with what is relevant to me, I'll entertain it. Or maybe I pay attention to it, or I consider it. But when it's not, I don't pay attention to it and I recognize it, and then I interpret it for myself that is something I'm not interested in. And then I change my focus on something positive that I like to do. And then my brain eventually learns that, oh, I got to reevaluate. These things are no value to him. I got to reevaluate this. And eventually the brain learns to come and follow you and your ways and what is of interest to you, not what is the mishmash that the brain is doing, because the job of the brain is to make thoughts, not thoughts that is relevant to you, any thoughts, because that's the machine that has been bestowed upon us to help us to calculate something. But when it goes haywire, it's going to start doing some things that is based on whatever is out there, whatever it's been exposed to, whatever is seen, whatever is read, whatever is watched, and whatever is actuality in the street. So it just makes thoughts. And you think because it's my brain, it's mounted on top of my head, it must mean something about me. No, it's just a fucking thought that is, it's like a radio. Just because something kind of out of radio, that doesn't mean you produce that. You can hear it. Or if it's television, you can see it, but that doesn't mean you're the creator of that or has any relevancy to you. You can react to it, either watch it or turn it off or change channel. That's it. That's all it is, nothing else. You get that, you'll deal with OCD and retrain and rewire your brain through neuroplasticity. And that's how you help the brain. Yeah, when it gets to a certain point that you need some kind of medication, your psychologist, psychotherapist may give you something that could help, but you can also, follow the instructions of experts in psychology, psychotherapies, such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. John Weiner, Dr. Phillipson. These are experts in the field, and you seek their advice or watch their channels or whatever it is, or other experts that you may know. They're expert in OCD, and then they will be able to help you with techniques that they have and or medicine if that's necessary. All right. Regen says sometimes either at nights or during the day, I start to get the sense of doom, like this feeling the world is ending. It's feeling I can't shake and it doesn't make sense. Well, you have a choice. You can view the world as a doom, but that's not going to make the world doom or not. The world is going to be what it is. Or you can make the world something amazingly great, which that's not going to make the world amazingly great. The world is what it is. You just got to understand that you don't have to shape or be in a extraordinary, conforming, balanced, and up to your standards circumstances to be able to survive. You just say, look, I'm going to find my path, even if it's a jungle, it's got lots of snakes and things, but I'm going to negotiate that path according to my knowledge and where I want to go and the direction and the tools that is available to me. So I'm going to make this possibly pleasant or unpleasant pathway in the jungle with my care and expertise and judgment to be a pleasant one as much as I can make it. That's my role. But I'm not going to wait until the world proves to me that it's not doom, or I think of it as a doom, which pretty much is the same as when you go into a boxing ring to fight, to say, I'm going to lose anyhow. So what the fuck you going in there for? You come up with a mentality that is already decided you're going to lose, so you're going to lose. So if you want to think the world is a doom, then that's going to be a doom because you've decided that it is. No matter what it shows to you, you're constantly never convinced. Oh, but it's a doom. Why? Because I believed it. So if you believe it, then you're fucked, because believing means you will never question it again. You will never research again. That's the end of your research. You will never experience it again to see if this world is worthy of your existence and your contribution here to it or not. That's your fault. You have a choice. You can veto the doom and focus on how best you can negotiate this fucking journey, or you can just sit down and roll over and say, okay, fuck it, I can't do anything. I'm not in control. Well, there are many things in this life that we are not in control. Naturally. But I got to do my best. And I don't deny myself from that chance of doing my best to turn things the way I could turn them as best as I can. Instead, you're going to say, oh, I think it's a feeling of doom. The feeling of doom might come and just double breathe, one breath and second breath, hold, and then slowly let it out. And do that 2 or 3 times. Every time you do it, breathe normally for a few times. Then you do it again, like this. Now you breathe normally. Now you do a double breath again. Now you breathe normally again. Now you do a double breathe again. Breathe normally again. At this point, you have no fucking doom feeling in your brain, because this already has kicked everything out of your brain. You're just, there is no you. It's you and universe have become one. That's it, all empty. And that's the feeling and the break you want to give yourself when you get in these glitches. This is pretty much the same when a psychotherapist gives an electric shock to a person who's depressed or heavy anxiety. But you're doing it yourself through this natural way. And it works every time. gives you rejuvenation, connection to the nature and universe, and you become elated and appreciative of the fact that you have the elixir of life by knowing I can survive it because I can filter it and refine my thoughts or the doom feeling by focusing on the simplest thing I need to survive in this world, which is abundantly ready and available, and that's breathing. Breathing, hopeful. I'm in control. There's one thing you're in control: breathing. So, change your stars. Don't roll over. I'll talk to you soon on that, hopefully some other day. All right. All right. Steven says, usually on the way to work, I feel kind of lonely. It's dark out, and maybe that plays a role in my mood also. Yes, of course, it's possible, but depends on what you're thinking on your way to work when it's dark. You see, when it's dark, you don't have so many things passing your eyesight, the field of vision, to recognize and interpret and then go to a scenario with that what you saw. You see a restaurant, you quickly think of what kind of food it serves, or you go through a passing by a mall, you see what kind of stores are there, and that takes you to different stores, whatever it is that you might be interested to buy, or you things that of that nature. So your mind is always being excited about something because the lights is on and the things are visible. But when it's dark, you don't have that span of vision. You just focus on what your brain from inside secretes, which depending on your mood, if you're just feeling, oh, I'm lonely, I don't have a girlfriend, or I want to go to work, I wish I was at home with my dog, or whatever else that might be coming into your mind, you'd be forced to be focused on that because that's the available choice. It's like going to a store that only sells one thing. So if it sells one thing, you're in the store and it's a big store, but everywhere you look is one thing. Or going to a store that's got 5,000 different products, and you're not stuck with one thing. So create these other things, change your thoughts when it's something that it gives you feeling lonely and I'm going to work. Just focus on, okay, I'm working this to make money and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on that trip. I'm going to do that hike. I'm going to, check out that girl. I'm going to make a date with that one. I'm going to buy that thing. Create new things rather than sitting and taking in whatever the bullshit that your brain is conjuring up to change your mood and make you feel lonely. You can change that. Says, when I get into my thoughts, I think of the past. Yeah, don't. Past is dead. It doesn't exist. Why do you think about something that doesn't exist? You're driving. Focus on your fucking driving and then focus on the things that are pleasant. You have a choice. Don't tell me that your brain makes your choices. It doesn't. Did you know that the experiment that Dr. Liebet did in his laboratory, it's a brilliant story, a brilliant experience. They wanted to show and see if your brain makes your decisions. The materialists were saying that it's atom or void. A brain knows everything. It's either there is something or nothing. But the dualists were saying that there's something beyond the brain, beyond the material, beyond the brain. And the brain is not everything. So Dr. Liebet got these number of people in his laboratory and says, listen, I want you to think of something simple, like pushing a button. And when you think of pushing the button, not when you push the button, when you think of pushing the button, log it by looking at the clock on the clinic and the laboratory, see what time it is and log that time. And all along, at the same time, while they're doing this manually, there is a probing electromagnetic field calculating and registering electromagnetic field on everyone's head. the connections are, the nodes are connected to their heads, and the monitor is going on. So the participants think about, like, they want to push the button, and they look, it says, okay, 10, 11, and 2 seconds. 10 o'clock, 11 minutes after 10, 2 seconds. All right, they log it in. And sure enough, when they take the readings of the electromagnetic field calculators, or, that apparatus, they see at 10, 11, 2 seconds, about half a second before, when the participants logged, or one participant logged the time that he thought to push the button, there was a spike in the brain. So the material says, see, brain knows everything, even before you make a decision. Dr. Levitt says, hey, hold on. There's a second part to this experiment. The second part was this. It says, okay, you make a decision at a certain time, you make a decision to push the button. Now, when you push the button, you make a decision to push the button, and you log it. And then once you logged it, just like the last time, then about a second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whenever, a minute later, you just say, no, I changed my mind. Or right away, she says, no, I changed my mind. And the probe's electromagnetic field registers are in their heads as well. So they now looked at it, says, okay, at, again, let's say whatever time it was, 10, 11 minutes, and 2 seconds, they decided that they want to push the button. And sure enough, as before, there was a spike half a second before, because they did that before. But this time, right after that, or a few seconds later, they said, no, I changed my mind. The electromagnetic field showed the brain was not even present. The brain was out of it. Brain did not know, did not register anything, as if the brain was dead. Brain was not aware of you changing the scenario, you changing the choice, you changing your decision. If the brain knows everything, and you say, well, before the first time, half a second before you decided to push the button, it showed a spike, then where the fuck is it when you change your mind? Because it's the same, another decision. Because you upstage the brain's not in the same pay grade as you are, you're above the brain, and there are things that you decide that the brain is not even aware of. Therefore, that makes you the boss, not the brain. So you don't follow what the brain says as that's the only choice there. You change the narrative. And then you train the brain to follow your decision, because the brain is not the boss, and it's not aware of your decisions when you actually change the scenario and change the form, change the whole story. That's up to you, not the brain. So with that power, you don't have to follow the fucking brain. You're not lonely. I've talked to you about the loneliness, and that was a whole different chapter of talk. So where did that go? All right. Don't think about the past. Past is dead, is waste of your time. There's nothing you can change in it. All it is just taking your energy. Don't do that. All right. Now, all right, guys, it's been 48 minutes and 48 seconds, or 9:50. So it looks like we don't have any more questions. I've answered all the questions that was thrown at me tonight. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed presenting a bunch of little things and answering your questions. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself, and to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.